Alright, guys, so earlier today, the part 2 of the Legends Festival was officially revealed, and the characters that we are going to be getting is LF Tag Super Saiyan Goku and Hit, and LF Revival Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Now, those are very good character picks, and I think those are the perfect characters to lead off the part 2, considering the fact that, let's be real here, the part 1 of this celebration is very lackluster. It's pretty much nothing to do. The meta is kind of So, at least part 2 is bringing some actual good things to the table. And I'm not saying, Fusey Super Gogeta isn't like bad. He's not bad at all. He's one of the best characters in the game, and he's a very good character pick. But he's just kind of boring. He's just kind of boring. But but considering the fact that this is one of the best part 2s in the game, people are actually mad. Now, no matter what Legends drops in the game, there will still be people that'll be mad. Because you really can't please anybody. If you drop a fusion, there will be people saying, bro, another fusion. If you drop a character that is unexpected and hype, there will be somebody saying, oh, well, we should have got this instead of that. Or we got this character before we got another variation of this character. Like, somebody will always complain. And that's honestly life. And no matter what you do, somebody will complain about it. But there shouldn't be this many people complaining about this part 2. And the reasons people are complaining about this part 2, correct me if I'm wrong, but those are very dumb reasons. So, the 3 reasons I heard that this part 2 was not really that good, or that it's worse than part 1, which isn't true, is 1, there is no 1% sparkings. 2, it's another Gohan. And 3, these characters are just boring. Like, they're kind of mid. And I'm going to be explaining my reasoning for all of them and why all of those things are not true, like, at all. So, let's talk about the fact that there's no 1%. Okay, so it is true that, yes, there are no 1% sparkings inside of the banner. But I just have one question for you. When was there a time where people in this game were more focused on a 1% sparking than the actual LF? Even if since we didn't get a 1% sparking, first off, there's nothing we could do about it. Like, complaining isn't just going to make the devs, okay, I'm just snap my fingers and bam, now there's 1% sparkings on the banner. Not to mention that when you go to a reveals and stuff, you're not watching it to see the 1% sparking. Some of you probably couldn't care less about it because that's not what you're summoning for. No one really cares if there's a 1% sparking or not because you're not summoning to get it. Unless the 1% sparking is crazy good and it's, and they have crazy animations and stuff, then sure, I'll understand. But most likely the 1% sparkings, they wouldn't be like as good or as hype as Gohan or Goku and Hit. Like, when was any of you ever that focused over a 1% sparking? Which, keep in mind, usually isn't even top 15 in the game. And Gotenks is a perfect example. I'm pretty sure nobody was focused on the fact that we got a 1% sparking Gotenks. Who actually gave any gave any freaks about the fact that we got a sparking Gotenks? Who cared? Really, nobody. Some people say, okay, sparking Gotenks, that's cool. And people didn't say anything about, okay, we got sparking Gotenks, I don't even care what else we get. Because no one really cares that much, right? No one really cares that much. Not to mention, Gotenks is actually pretty bad. Good defense, bad tanking. No, I'm stupid. I say good defense, bad tanking. Good defense, bad damage. Actually, no. Decent defense and bad damage. Like, that's very disappointing, honestly. But what can we do? And again, I understand y'all's frustration, but some of y'all just, I just don't know. I mean, again, when it comes to LF banners, 1% sparking should basically always be on that banner, like 1000%. Like, if not all LF banners, most LF banners. And this one shouldn't have really been an exception. But again, no one cares. No one cares. The only 1% sparking I can remember that people actually cared for and summoned for was probably Tamagami number 3. No, actually, maybe Majin Ku or Majin Do. Any of those. Maybe, oh no, actually, it might be Kelly Caulifla. I don't know. I think it was Kelly Caulifla, and Kaba. But besides those, no one really cared for a 1% sparking. Because that's not what you're looking forward to. So if you're complaining saying that this part 2 isn't as good because there isn't a 1% sparking, then I can tell you're the type of person to just really focus on things that doesn't matter. Like, because what is a 1% sparking going to do? Nothing. It might do something, but that's not what you're really looking forward to when it comes to the Legends Festival. So that's the first reason talked about. Now let's talk about the second reason, there being another. So here's the thing about there being another Gohan. And I think this might be the hardest to give my opinion on and talk about why this is wrong, but I'm going to try my best. The last Gohan we got before this was the red sparking one, who, to be honest, wasn't even top 8 in the game. He wasn't. Like, some of you are focused on the fact that it's another dominance Gohan. You are focusing on the fact that it's just another Gohan. If you see that name on any other character, all people will say is, oh my gosh, bro, another Gohan. You're saying that like that's the character we get the most in Dragon Ball Legends. It is really not. It's really not. I mean, obviously the character we get the most in Legends is Goku because he appears in basically any huge celebration. Like, can anybody name one celebration where Goku didn't appear at least once? Okay, maybe third anniversary. Yeah, you might got a point there. Third anniversary, Yeah, just third anniversary. I think that's like the only celebration that didn't have a Goku included in it. But let's look here. Let's look here at Gohan. So if I were to type in Gohan, these are all the characters we have of him. With this one being the latest character. And again, first off, he's on 1% sparking. Secondly, on release, he wasn't even top 8 in the game. Okay? The last LF Gohan we got in the game was literally this guy. This was the last one. And most of this tag unit is Trunks. That's mostly what this tag unit is for. Once Gohan dies, you go right back into Trunks. So basically, Gohan is like 25% of this entire tag character, with Trunks being 75%. But now, if you look at characters like Goku, these are all the characters he has in the game. Maybe 3 times the amount Gohan has. Or 2 times. I don't know. But I don't see anybody in the game complaining about the fact that, bro, we got another Goku. Because he's the main character. Of course he's supposed to get characters. So why are people complaining that one of the main characters of Dragon Ball Z, which is Gohan, why are people complaining that he's getting an LF? Because we didn't even get a Gohan, besides Gohan and Trunks, we didn't get another Gohan until the sparking one came out. And do you still see people using him? No. So, like, my biggest... And another thing. Y'all do realize that the last Super Saiyan 2 LF Gohan that came out, the last one was this red one. And he came out like in 2019, 2020. Almost, basically 5 to 6 years ago. And he needed a remake. He did. His LF was pretty garbage. His animations were whack. We got a remake, and people are still complaining. And you know why? Because it's the fact that it's another Gohan. Some of you won't even focus on the fact that we're getting a remake of one of the most hyped characters in the entire game. None of you won't focus on the fact that this guy has crazy good animations. You're just focused on the fact that it is another Gohan. Why? Why? Because nobody, and I mean nobody, was complaining that we got a Super Gogeta, considering the fact that Fusion Warriors got tons of buffs beforehand. Nobody was complaining when we got 2 UI Gokus in the same year. Nobody was complaining when we basically got 3 fusion characters in one celebration. But once Gohan steps in, then all of a sudden it's an issue. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, believe it or not, doesn't even get that much recognition in this game. We search up Gohan, and then we put Super Saiyan 2. These are all the Gohan Super Saiyan 2s in the game. This is all of them. We only got 4. Only 4 in the entire game. Only 4 Super Saiyan 2 Gohans in the game. But people are still complaining about this. We only got 2 premium Gohans, and 2 of them just being a Sparking and an Extreme. Not to mention, this guy was the latest one, and he came out almost 2 years ago. This guy got an equipment this year, if I'm not mistaken, or it was last year. I don't remember. I think he got one this year, actually. And guess what? He got an equipment, and he fell off very fast. And these 2 here, I wasn't playing the game when they came out. I know the Extreme Gohan pretty much did nothing, but this guy here, I'm pretty sure he was good on release, and then once he got his equipment, then he was like very, very good, right? But still, like, why are people complaining that? Now, okay, if it was another Beast Gohan, I will understand why you will probably complain. I mean, again, it's still a hype character, but I will see why you would complain. Because we get a Beast Gohan every single year. We don't get a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan every single year. We don't. We just don't. And I guess we do have the, transforming Super Saiyan 2 Gohans and the revival one from the BoJack movie. But if we're taking specifically the Cell Saga, we only got 4. We only got 4. I get that it's another Gohan, and that you might get tired, and you are probably tired of seeing his face. But he needed a remake. People were even asking for a remake, and people are still hating on this character for what reason? Because these Legends players, I will talk about that statement at the end of the video. Let's talk about the third reason. These characters are lackluster, and they just aren't that hype compared to Part 1. Which is very far. So, I think this might be the easiest, hardest one to also talk about. Because even though it's just a tag character and a revival character, there's a lot more to them than you think. Because if we look, first off, let's look at character choices. Guy Goku and Hit is the perfect choice for a Part 2. Because I wouldn't say they are hype enough to... I think they're hype enough to headline a Part 1, personally. If you give them, unique abilities, crazy animations, and, just something we've never seen before. Then they are hype enough to lead off a Part 1. But standalone, without anything unique or whatever, I don't think they can headline a Part 1. But they are perfect picks for Part 2. Then we have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who needed a remake badly. He got one, and that's a perfect pick for Part 2 also. So now it also begs the question, how do people think these characters are lackluster? And, okay, for Part 1, we got Fusing Super Gogeta and Janemba. And only one of these characters here is hype, and that's Gogeta. Nobody really cares about this guy because he's not worthy of being in this festival at all. He's unhyped, and he's not even that good. We just have to keep it a buck. He's not that good. He's really not. He's just not. He isn't. Because he's heavily star reliant. Now, yes, these characters do have good animations, but they do not have better animations than Gohan or Goku in Hit. They just do not. I think out of the two, Super Gogeta has the better animations, but his LF is just some kicks, a final flash, and then maybe the dang Soul Punisher, and that's the entire LF. Goku and Hit, you have them doing good, crazy combos or whatever and stuff like that. Then Goku transforms into Super Saiyan Blue. Then he does the Kamehameha. Hit does his little fist blast or whatever. It hits the opponent with the fist blast first. Then it hits him with the Kamehameha. And then Goku deforms back to God for the windscreen. Then you're telling me that's not hype. Then for Gohan's LF, it's literally him doing the one-hand Kamehameha. Goku is in the back, and he is actually moving. Unlike, in the old one. Goku is actually moving. Like, it seems like he's real, but he's actually a spirit. And it's like you can see Gohan's rage, really. And, I mean, they could have did the walk. I mean, I wasn't really looking. I don't know if they did the walk or not, but it was still a crazy good LF. Better than any of the ones we've seen. Crap. Better than any of the ones we've seen here. And people have the nerve to say this is lackluster and not hype. So, the biggest problem with the Legends community is the fact that most of you, be having your expectations way too high for this stuff. Why do some of y'all think we have to always get something hype? I mean, yes, it's a festival. Of course. But if you're always expecting something to be hype and it isn't hype, then you're going to get disappointed. I'm not saying God Goku and Hit aren't hype, but if you personally think they aren't hype and you had high expectations, that's why you're disappointed. Because you're expecting something crazy, something that is unreal, unseen. Some of you are hoping for that. Some of you are expecting that. And when we don't get it, then that's when people want to go into comments and start complaining. So no, these characters aren't lackluster. You're just the person who was hoping for something way more than, we got. And again, I understand it's a festival, but if you look at the freaking festival 2024, we all have our expectations high for that. And then it turned out to be straight disappointment. Then we learn from our mistakes. Okay, we thought the 7th anniversary problem was going to be crazy good because they were talking about it's just the 6th anniversary. And it turned out to be absolute dog crap. The part 1 was dog crap. The part 2 was very good. And the part 3 was alright. So now you think with those mistakes of having your hopes way too high, you would think the Legends community would just, learn to not have their expectations high. But no. People still do and have the nerve to go into comments and complain about this festival part 2 isn't that good. It could have been a whole lot better. Part 1 clears. And it's really not true. It's really not true. It's just not. But now, So, I just have one thing to say about this about the Legends community. My biggest problem is that some of y'all just have to always complain about these choices for part 2. No, not even just for part 2. Some of you Legends players just always need to find a reason to complain. Always. If part 1 was good, you will find the smallest thing and then go into comments and complain about it. Like, oh my gosh, the devs, they didn't add this part in the animation that should have been in there. So this part 1 is instantly an L. Or, well, this character should have had this move instead of that move. So this part 1 is instantly an L. Like, you'll just find anything to complain about. Like, again, if you were to complain about one thing about this entire part 2, the only thing you might complain about is the fact that none of these characters have anything unique. But their animations and stuff like that, it makes them seem unique. Their animations are crazy. You know, they're very good characters. Each of them have their own strengths and whatnot. And they are way better picks than part 1, to be honest. I mean, fusing Super Gogeta, that's a very good pick and was the most expected pick. But you just can't have one LF carrying one of the parts. Then once they start to lose hype, the entire part loses hype. But yeah, guys, so let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of this part 2 of the festival? I think this is one of the best part 2s in the game, if not the best part 2. But I'm gonna say it's one of the best part 2s in the game, because I do think Festival 2021 is better, and you know, 5th anniversary part 2. For 5th anniversary part 2, I think that is equal to this one, and I think the 5th anniversary part 2 is up there like top 3 best part 2s in the game. But yeah, guys, so that's the end of the video. Again, let me know in the comments, what do y'all think of this part 2, and I'll see you guys in the next one for probably a summoning video if I get some CC. Have a good